Hi, guys. Thanks for joining us on the Wichita Real Producers Beyond the Pages podcast. We are here live in Trussell Media Studios with the incredible Troy Trussell. So Troy produces our podcast and also creates exceptional videos for many of the other clients here in Wichita, including a lot of realtors. And if you're interested in starting a podcast or if you're looking for some high quality branding videos, then look no further. Troy is a master storyteller and he will certainly bring your brand to life. My name is Sam Lucharini. I'm your host, and we have our preferred partner, Tats Shepherd here with Shepherd Insurance Group, and Realtor Kate Caselton with Keller Williams Signature Partners. So today we are going to talk about insurance and working with family and a little bit of real estate and everything that's a little bit in between. So on that note, Tats, why don't you start us off? Tell us a little bit about yourself, about your company, and then how you met Kate and why you invited Kate on as your guest.
Sure. So I am an insurance agent. I co-own Shepherd Insurance Group, and I got my start in insurance by my business partner, Heidi. She tricked me into
Heidi, no, she's way too sweet.
Yeah. She's not here to defend herself, so I can say whatever.
That's okay. That's all right. Yeah. You can comment below, Heidi. Yeah.
We started off as State Farm agents. Okay. And so what was considered a captive
carrier.
Carrier. Yep. And we did that for a few years and found success in it. But then couldn't find all the options for our clients. We just wanted to not have a narrow field per se, because insurance needs changes, Sure. and I say this all the time, insurance is not a one size fits all. So we decided to become brokers. I actually decided to become a broker first. Okay. And it went so well. I went back to Heidi and I tricked her.
Yes, now it's even.
So now we're even. So tricked her into joining me, and what we have accomplished for our clients, for ourselves, for our family, for our business in just the past couple of years has just been phenomenal. Sometimes we sit back and we just go, wow.
Yeah. How did we do this? This is amazing.
Because it was what we wanted to do, what we strived to do, and what we wanted to be able to provide. And then meeting and making good friends along the way.
Yes. Yep. That's key to this business, or these relationships.
And I know I always start off with the agency, but I should say I am. So prior to agency, I was a stay-at-home mom. I raised a couple babies. Yeah. My oldest is now 23, going on 20. Yeah, she'll be 24 soon. Yeah. And then my youngest is sweet 16 now. And there's a reason why you say sweet 16, because they're sometimes not so sweet.
Not always.
Just to remind people about that. But,
yes.
And
hang
married,
in there. It's just a phase.
And married. And my husband also works in the agency as well. And so we really are a family.
Family-run business. Yeah.
Yeah, because Heidi and I are sisters, because, we look a lot alike.
Yes. Yeah. Not exactly twins, but pretty close. Yeah.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
She got more of the height. It's okay.
And she likes to remind me of that, but that's okay.
That's okay. TNT comes in small packages, so we can
right?
Yes,
exactly.
Yes,
yeah. And so anyway, along the way, I've had the pleasure of meeting you,
yes,
and meeting Kate,
yes,
and making friendships. And Kate and I actually met under the most stressful of circumstances.
Oh my, okay.
We baked a pie together.
Okay. Really intense. I was not expecting that. I was expecting like this horrible real estate story. Okay. So now you have to explain, Tats.
So we took a pie baking class with Joy, and if you
where
you
is
don't
this?
Know Joy at Keller Williams.
Oh, that Joy. Okay, yes,
that Joy, and she's amazing. She was able to turn Kate and I into bakers, even after all of the. Can I say that alcohol?
Yes, of course. Yeah. That is a normal part of life when you're a business owner.
Right, yes. Right. So Kate and I we were just kind of like, okay, so this is how we do it. And it turned out beautifully. And we were actually very fun. Proud of ourselves.
And it tasted okay?
It was delicious.
Well, winning on all
Joy had this no-fail recipe.
Okay.
I think that's what it is.
Okay.
It's all joy.
I was going to say, I don't.
Can I come next time? This sounds really fun.
Oh my
I don't want
gosh.
to cook, but I will bake.
We didn't burn a thing. That's you would have known.
This is amazing.
Yeah, but we had
because I
a lot
live
of
across the
those.
street essentially, and I would have seen the fire trucks. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, that would have been bad. Brand new building, newly upgraded. Lots of.
I need to pay attention
agents.
to my emails because I did not get that one about pie baking. Okay,
So it was fun, and so we just connected over pie. I mean, and that's I hate to say this, but that's what I do. I just connect over food.
that's normal.
That's my
That's
thing.
smart.
I love
Yeah,
So-
yeah, food or drinks.
Right.
Sugar, whatever. Yeah,
Yep.
it looks like. Okay. And I've always wondered this, and then of course I'm going to ask it on the podcast, but is Tats your full name, or is that like a nickname or a shortened version of a name for you?
It's a short form.
Okay.
So my full name is 𝙤𝙘𝙨𝙚𝙗𝙗.
Okay.
And if you want me, I can say my full.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So
On record.
𝙤𝙤𝙗𝙗𝙗 Shepherd.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
Tats Shepherd is a little.
I like that.
Shorter. It's
Okay,
really
is that
easy.
Filipino? What is that?
Lao?
Lao. Okay.
So, Laos.
I love
First
that.
generation immigrant.
Okay.
And so
How incredible.
yeah, definitely living the American dream.
You are. And then really quickly, I only know this because I have just sat with you enough and learned enough about insurance and have lovingly stalked you over the past 3 years, and you finally conceded. But what, for those that don't understand, the captive audience versus the brokerage, can you just touch on that a little bit?
Thank you. Yes, so captive is you. There's really the short and simple of it is you work for the company.
Right.
You
Selling their products and their products only.
Selling their products and their products only, and really you're working for them. You don't own the business. So as an agent, you manage, and you have what seems like a piece of ownership, but you're really having to comply with what the company says, what the company does, what the company wants in the client.
Yeah. What they want to sell, what products they want to push.
Exactly.
And get rewarded for those specifically.
And they're and they can say, okay, right now we don't want any teenage drivers, or right now we don't want to write any homes in Sedgwick County, and so it's very limited, and you have no other choice. I mean, you have a round hole, and you better find the round peg.
Wow.
To
And
fit
that's
in
tough.
there.
Yeah. Your hands are bound. And
Absolutely.
that does not sound like the best interest of the client. Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
So brokerage is we get to work for the client, and that is our passion, and that's what we like to do. So we have. I'm losing count. I mean, dozens and dozens of carriers now, from, what we call personal lines. That's your home and auto, and then commercial lines, which is actually my specialty. Commercial is small business owners, businesses. Then
Business insurance.
business insurance.
Yes.
Yeah,
Which every realtor actually should have.
exactly,
Yep.
exactly, and errors and omission.
Yes.
We'll talk about that.
Oh.
Yeah, but am I supposed to put people to sleep? Am I supposed to really talk this much about insurance right now?
I think it's important for people to know that there is a big difference, right? And that there are lots of options. And realtors and anybody else that might have an interest in listening to a real estate podcast needs to know that the more knowledge that you have, the better you can serve yourself or your clients. So, and I just wanted people to know.
That game that it's called, I think, called Perfection Game. Do you remember when you're babies, you're putting in like the star, the half moon, and, and it's timed, and and then you try to fit it in, and then it pops out at you. I like to think that that's what we get to do.
Okay.
We get to find
It's a good visual.
the star and put it in the star space, and that we don't have to just all be round.
Yeah, force it into something.
Exactly. So, and we get to do it for our clients. Yeah. So, I mean, if a carrier says, "Hey, this is not for us," and we're like, "Okay."
Yeah, I've got dozens more to go choose from.
Exactly.
Yeah, because we could have a different carrier for one car, for another car, for renter's insurance, business insurance, whatever that looks like.
Yep. And I like to think that Heidi and I have created a really process for our clients to be insured well and proper and to the value that they want, and then also to have had a process, and I can't wait to hear about Kate's process, but having process and systems to make us our team now. Our team has grown so big, and we have brought on agents that did struggle like we did in the captive world, and that wanted to become brokers, and so we have really. I hope to one day say paved the way.
Yes.
But right now we're laying stones to help them to get there and
To achieve their dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And the whole thing about us making all the mistakes, and so you don't have to make the mistakes.
That's right.
And we've done
I do love that. Yeah, you've already fallen and skinned your knees. They can just learn from you.
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. All right. Miss Kate, tell us a little bit about yourself. And I know that this is a family business for you, right? You might have tried to escape real estate, but you had no choice in your back. So tell us a little bit about your history with that.
Yeah. Well, first, thank you for having me. And
Of course.
Tats, thank you so much.
Yes.
You're such a natural attractor, and it's easy to be in friendship with you. So thanks again. Yeah. So I started off in real estate in high school. Technically at the end of middle school, it was pretty wild. So my mother, she just asked me if I would help, do some assistant work for her. I was running around making packets and papers and putting things together, playing with some marketing.
Yeah. Child labor laws don't
That's
apply
right.
when
Yep.
you're in the family.
Absolutely.
We've all learned that.
Yep. So did that for a while. I did not ever have a desire to be a real estate agent, actually.
Okay.
More geared towards the medical field.
Yeah.
So my mother had previously done that, so I learned by example and that as well.
Yeah.
Funny enough, though, I make jokes all the time that Robert Kiyosaki wrote the book Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yes.
And it was before I was born. So it's rude because I
That
grew up
hurts
that way.
a little bit. Just to let you know that one
Rude.
hurt.
Yep. So it's and I say that because I grew up in a similar fashion. It was a unique experience. My parents separated when I was young, and I watched a set of parents work their 9 to 5, and I watched a set of parents create businesses and, through blood, sweat, and tears. And so our family made sacrifices on one side, and our family, worked differently on another. So for me, it was a unique opportunity to see a couple different ways of doing life and to build the way I wanted to do it.
Yeah. Take lessons from both, because there's validity in both. Yeah.
It was tough in high school because you think, these are your parents. So if someone's telling you one thing or the other, if they're conflicting, how do you decide who wins?
That would be very difficult.
So it was a unique experience to read that book and say, neither are wrong. It's just a way of an outlook and a perspective on life.
Of course.
So I decided I was interested in medical. My mother didn't manage her time very well, her schedule. And so over time, as I discovered, she was actually the boss and the owner of her business, right? She wasn't working for the man.
Yeah.
She could create her schedule, and that changed my world. It basically opened up for me and said, oh, okay, so I don't have to do it the exact same way, and I could still get in a business and really thrive and enjoy this. So I did. Initially, it was to pay for medical school.
Yeah.
I was still really gung-ho on being a plastic surgeon. I was going for it.
I love that.
Wanted to help people in some sort of fashion. So be it whatever means that would be, I ultimately decided business. I watched my mother sit down. Okay, so I was an assistant, right? We go to this home with this group of 9. This family was a family of 9.
Wow.
So they send their kids out back into the backyard to play, and we're sitting at their table, and they start crying, and they slide a piece of paper over to my mom. And they said, okay, they're telling us they're going to take our home. What do we do? So they weren't all the way in foreclosure yet.
They were about to be foreclosed on.
They were headed towards pre-foreclosure, and they were getting threatening letters. Well, they weren't informed on what their options were. And so it was a really cool experience to see her bring solutions and ideas to something no one thought there'd be an answer to.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
Like a savior. I mean, just the best news that you could hear in an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, it really was. And just to see, it goes beyond the paperwork, because prior to that, I had only seen the paperwork side and hadn't been on many appointments with her.
Seeing the emotion, like how it's actually affecting people.
Yeah. So we got to closing, and they cried happy tears. They made a surprised profit on it, and they got into a home that fit them better. It was more affordable, and it was actually larger, and it worked for their family. So it was,
What a neat story.
There's a humanity piece in this work.
Yeah. And so then I think at that point you were probably hooked. You're like, oh wait, I can help people and make good money and be my own boss.
That's right.
Yeah. Work as little or as much as I want. Okay. I love that. And then your mom, Hallie, is still actively doing real estate. And then you and Hallie will be in our Mother's Day edition in May.
Thank you.
And so that's going to be really fun to see as well.
Yeah.
So yes. All right. Well, so Tats, let's come back to you real quick. What does a typical day look like for you in the business?
Is there such a thing as a typical day?
Not usually.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I know that you're very close you're off the 13th. He's 13th and 96. I know you're very close to the Keller Williams Signature Partners office.
Yes. So
Beautiful building.
You know, a typical day will, so it may not be in the same order every day, but you know, there's training. Like I said, we've got a good team. We've built a good team, and we're always adding on to our team. So there's training, of course, sharing our knowledge and our processes, and really just connecting with our team, because I feel like that's important. Yeah. Then there's, of course, meeting and making new friendships. I know it sounds so corny, but it is friendships. I like to think it's friendships and not partnerships or referrals, or because really when it comes down to it, I can tell you I have all these options, and I can tell you I do this and that, but really if you don't trust me, if you don't like me, it really doesn't go very far. Yeah,
in one ear and out the other.
Exactly. Yeah. And then there's, you know, helping somebody build a dream or start a dream. Yeah.
Or help them in one of their worst times.
Yes.
You guys get the phone calls when the worst of life occurs.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. And just making sure that we're prepared and trained for that. And it seems like, you know, because we're not in the medical field. Yeah. We're not doctors. Yeah.
But you're not saving lives, but you're certainly changing them. You're protecting them.
Absolutely. And so we've seen the worst of it. I mean, last year, this time actually.
That's right.
Last year
was April's tornado.
Mm-hmm. So that was, literally close to home. Close to our office.
Yeah, you could see it from the office. Yeah.
Yes, and we had customers, and we had, you know, friends going through it. So, that really does just kind of, and then the fun part, brainstorming, and still, so we get to work on our business now.
Yeah. Processes, operations.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And just
things better.
Just really trying to, because the industry changes, and it changes so fast. Okay. I mean, we can wake up to an email that you know, just throws us completely off balance.
Wow. Okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. It really does. I mean, you know, from carriers to laws to tornadoes that happen. It really, you know, I do, when I talk to a client, I say, you know, this is not the fun part, talking about insurance. This is, I know everybody wants to try to run, but there is a reason why we do what we do, because when you need us, it's going to be the worst time of your life.
That's right.
So
that's right.
That's our typical day.
What is the most, the craziest insurance story that you can recall, whether it be something kind of funny or something, you know, serious like a tornado, but anything that comes to mind where you're like, I'm never forgetting this because it was just so wild. It was like one of those commercials, like the commercials you used to see on TV I don't watch TV anymore, but it's like the craziest thing that would happen. Anything like that come to mind for you?
Well, lots actually.
Okay.
And the reason why is, I'm going to say this, and then my advice would be, don't stand close to Heidi. So
poor Heidi, man. Well, just wait, because next time we do the podcast, she's going to be on here, so you're going to have to be watching and commenting. Yeah,
that's okay. We'll take it. But she knows this, and she'll admit to this. She, you know, we've experienced a lot with our clients, and you know, and we've had the small and the big, and the, you know, and the crazy and the wild, but a lot of the times the story comes from Heidi. I mean, if there's going to be an insurance issue, insurance claim, I mean, she's going to have had experienced it.
Okay.
And so, I mean, again, don't stand too close to her.
Okay.
So we get to, when we meet a new partner or a new team or something like that, when we train real live cases. And
Smart.
A lot of times it starts
to repeat itself.
Yeah. And it starts with Heidi saying, well, this one time.
And people are like, no, that couldn't have happened.
But it does. It does. And
all right.
So,
Very good. Okay. What is your 5-year goal with Shepherd Insurance Group?
Oh, gosh. I used this term the other day, and you go into it and you kind of dream it, and you put the steps in place to do it. But I think the best way to describe what we want to do in 5 years is just to be called the biggest little guy.
Okay.
Or gal.
The biggest fish in the
the
Wichita pond. Yeah. Okay.
So is that you know, whatever that means, whatever that feels like, I think we'd love to be described as you know what? Those girls,
Okay.
they're the biggest little guys.
Yeah. Well, you guys are very sweet and very fun. And I can attest to that because I have
we do have fun with you.
Yes. Yeah, we do.
I have to admit.
There's a
and
lot
with
of fun.
Kate, and we just, there's
It
no
doesn't
other
have to be all stuffy and boring and put you to sleep. Not at all.
No, and I was gonna say because this really makes me nervous because usually Heidi is the one that's here sitting in the spot like
I
this.
know.
You know that.
Yes. I know you're a little bit more shy.
So I
appreciate you getting out of your comfort zone.
Thank you.
See, it's fun.
And my prayer was going to be, I hope I don't offend anybody, and if we do, I hope it's Kate that offends someone.
It's okay. It's probably going to be me, and Troy will always have our back and edit it out. So it'll be fine.
Okay.
It'll be fine. Okay, cool. Kate, let's flip over to you real quick.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Stage is yours.
So we've learned a little bit about your path leading up into the real estate industry. At what point did you get licensed? How old were you, or what year was that?
Yeah. So I started taking courses for real estate when I was like 15. My mom would take me out of school. I asked to go. I was intrigued and interested in business. I know it's super weird. But
No. So here's the
such
thing.
a go-getter.
Sam, I realize this is not my show, but I just want to say, are you kidding me?
Yeah. No.
What was I doing when I was 15?
Oh, I was doing bad things, stressing my parents out, and getting
you.
away with way too
Me
much.
too.
No, Kate has
we
always
probably
had.
would have been in that getaway car together, right?
Oh, for sure. Okay. Yeah. We were making trouble.
Okay.
Yeah, just skirting by. No, that's one thing I've always noticed about you. We were in Lead Academy. You all have always been the youngest realtor and a go-getter, and just had this incredible natural ability for leadership. And so that's why I was curious. So I figured you were one of those, like Caitlin Suddeth, who got your real estate license the moment you turned 18, because that's the law.
Well, so actually, it is the law. And funny enough, so I started going to classes. I took my licensing classes when I was 17. I actually taught agent courses when I was 16 years old in our brokerage. I was approved to teach courses.
Isn't that amazing?
Granted, they were entry. They were entry trainings. They weren't terribly difficult. And I relied on my mother for any complex questions. So there we go. But no, I took my licensing courses when I was 17. Funny enough, I petitioned to graduate early so I could get into business quicker. So I was
nothing's going to surprise me at this point. Yeah, no, our prodigy.
I was approved, and I asked for my diploma in December, and they said, no, you get that when you walk in May. And I was appalled. I mean, utterly just in disbelief.
Yeah. Like why wouldn't?
Yeah, be like, I earned it. Give it to me now.
I just didn't really understand.
Print something up. I don't care.
And I talked to everybody about it and tried so hard. So I walked and got my diploma in May. So in that meantime, I had gotten ready. Instead of giving senior pictures to my teachers, though, I gave them a future real estate agent business card. And I was made fun of.
I love this. Yes. You know what? They're not making fun of you now. They're probably calling on you for advice. Like, how do I do this?
They actually, so funny enough, and it's an honor, though, and a privilege to serve them and help them. And it's been a really beautiful time to see them remember things like that. And my teachers have called me, and I've worked with business teachers and all across the board. So that was really helpful. I ended up getting that license when I was 18, the moment I got my diploma.
Yes.
In fact, I went and took the test, and I hadn't had my study materials for over 6 months.
Yeah.
So I failed. I missed 2 questions. So I went back and took it, passed it in 10 minutes. They pat me down again because they couldn't. I was the fast. No one had ever taken it so quickly.
You knew it. And they are serious at Pearson View. Like
serious.
It's like you're like walking into the Pentagon. Like they take that very seriously.
Like I was making jokes about my license because it was still like the up and down.
Oh yeah, the under 21. Yes, yeah, the vertical.
Yep. So from there, I got licensed, jumped right in. That summer though, I had a pivotal experience, and that was with a billionaire down in Texas, and he was the co-founder of Keller Williams International, and his name is Gary Keller. Went down there, chatted with him. There was a group of a collection of students, in essence. They were all college age, so 18 to 26 years old. I was the youngest in there, and there was a actual rocket scientist sitting behind me, so I was just mortified of my silly questions.
No.
But I went for it, right? That was just how I was. Might as well be brave than to regret.
That's right. Yeah, we don't regret what we do. We regret the things we never did.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've always really lived with that, and I don't think it's, necessarily a built-in courage, but it's a thing that you practice and you improve.
Yeah, you increase that muscle, you strengthen that muscle. Yeah, because you're not afraid to do anything. So let's talk about just your other leadership positions, right, that you've held at still such a young age. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, let's see. So somewhere around was privileged to be featured with some business journal things here with the Wichita Business Journal. Leaders, the
Emerging leaders?
Leaders,
yep.
Women in business. Got to go to the Kansas Leadership Center for the Leading Edge course. Oh, it was incredible. I'd recommend that to anyone. Everything at Kansas Leadership Center.
Yes.
But we did that. I was with my mother, so she's always been like a compass, a mentor.
Yeah. You guys are best friends. Like
we are.
You guys are two peas in a pod. You're more like sisters.
Yes. We are.
Yep.
and she likes to say we are too, because she looks really good.
Yes, she does. She does not look like your mama.
She loves it. Yes. Super sassy. So yeah, but she's actually in kind of like Heidi, like more the, extroverted out in your face. And it's awesome. So it's fun that, it's a privilege to work with someone like her who's such a good leader, because she's made room. You make room at the table. You always do.
Yourself,
go do your own thing. I'll mark the way, you might run that way. So I'd go take off running, but I went through that door, so it was really neat. I got involved with the board of directors, our Realtors of South Central Kansas board, and then our state board. It was an interesting thing. They kind of asked me to come join, and I said, no, this is going to sound a little crude, and I don't mean it in any way, but I thought it was just for older people.
Yeah.
Frankly, and I'm okay. Yeah.
But they need some fresh blood. They needed, and you might be probably the youngest on the board of directors of the association.
I don't know about like all of history, but perhaps. I think I was 22-ish.
Okay. I like to call that experience, Kate.
Yes. She's an old soul.
Forgive me.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yeah. Wisdom. Wise and experienced.
So she, it was Cindy Ferguson, actually. She goes, you have to do this. I had taken the LEAD Academy, and I'm always so in your face. I always have questions, and I need to know more.
You're hungry. You're hungry for the knowledge.
And so she said, please, I'll extend the deadline. And I said, no, don't you dare do that. What am I going to bring to this table? And she goes, well, it's the ideas. It's we need
a fresh perspective.
Diversity.
Yeah.
And so I did.
I love that.
I joined. I make jokes that she forced me, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a really neat experience. It's helped me recently with other things I've led and boards I've led, and then the state board was really neat. It was just a really cool experience. So after that, I started training at the board office. I did a few trainings here and there for different things, and when I was 19, I launched this business networking international chapter. It was super fun.
Yeah.
Founding father. My mom just didn't want to do it. And she's like, how about you help? You'd be great at this. You've sat in on these. And so we had a good time. And then by accident, became the regional trainer.
By accident?
It just happens.
The universe is like, you're capable. I'm giving this to you now. And here's this.
Just wake up one day.
What a privilege. Yeah.
That is really cool. I really love that. No, there's a lot of great people down at the association. They're doing a lot of really good things. And it takes a lot of good realtors that can set their own agenda and their own ego aside and really just get back and make our community better. Because we need that. We need a lot more of that. This is not an easy thing to do.
That's right. Well, and I think too, it's important. I'm going to shout them out because they're one of the better associations across the country.
Well, and what Cindy has done for them and how she brings, all the associations from around the country come and learn from our Realtor Association Wichita, and that's huge. I remember being a little bit a part of that as well, and that's they do. They deserve that shout out.
Yeah, I think that piece in my career, that's a foundational piece for me. That taught me the importance of, honoring our consumer and serving them and keeping an eye out for them, the little guy, and
because these small businesses is what makes the city continue.
When you make that your nucleus, you serve in a much different capacity. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I love that.
Do you see why I stand in awe of her?
Yes, I know. Yeah, you are. You're a very old soul. Wise beyond your years. Yeah. That's been apparent for a long time. So outside of work, Kate, what do you like to do? What do you spend your time doing?
Yeah.
Who are you besides a realtor?
Oh, who am I? No, I'm a learner. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I read a whole lot of books. I actually had a goal for many years to read 40 books, and I would consistently
every year.
I did hit 40 one year, and then I would do 38 and 36.
Yeah. High 30s is still pretty impressive.
Well, what I realized too is I was going through them a little quick, and I wasn't retaining as much as I wanted. So I actually backed it down. I said, you know what? No, we're not reading for reading's
quality
sake.
Over quantity.
Yep. Yeah. We're reading for actionable, tangible takeaways. So I backed that down to around 20. And
that's awesome.
I've been reading The Power of One More by Ed Mylett. Oh my. Amazing guy.
Well, that was going to be one of my questions, is favorite books. Yeah. Because we become the people from the books that we read. You are the books that you read, and so what kind of knowledge in and what's coming out.
Yeah, I think, and that's a important thing. I think I have kind of a small circle. So I believe heavily in the 5 you surround yourself most with are who you become most like, and your wealth.
Yes.
So I'm very mindful of that. It sounds calculating. It's not that crazy. But what I do is, if you don't have the people in your life where you need more, then reach and find the things to
create those circumstances if you can't find them.
And then research what you're putting into your brain before you do it, so big on that. But fun wise too, Johnny and I, my fiance, we are married, engaged to be married in October.
Congratulations.
Which I'm so excited. I had to basically beg that man. We bought a home when I was 19. We launched a mechanic shop business off our property. We've done all these things, and so it'll be 2 weeks shy of 8 years when we get married.
Wow. Well, you guys, you've definitely spent the time. I'm pretty sure you know what you're getting into. Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, we got to grow up together. It's been amazing. I'm so excited.
Yeah. He's been a part of your family for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he works with my dad. So they run a dirt work company together. Yes. My mom and I have always been in real estate together, and him and I often go down to the Little Sahara sand dunes in Winoka, Oklahoma.
Okay.
We have a Yamaha YXC. We ride around down there. We
have
fun. We have some buddies, so we call ourselves the Power Rangers. We have one of every color. I love it. It's slowing down now that our friends are having children. They're growing families, so we're kind of in a transition period a little bit. It's a little different. So
that's your season of life right now, which is very exciting.
It's a good time. So other than that, we hang out. We let the dogs run. We have some bonfires, and
that's awesome.
We just have a good time.
Yeah. I love that. Tats, what books have you read that you really love, or what books or a book has really changed your life?
So I'm actually in a slightly different season right now. So starting off, several years ago, a lot of sales book, right? Sales and self-improvement and how to become a better person, leader and employer. So all of that, that I've done that. And I think I was a lot like Kate. I mean, I was just zipping through them, just trying to absorb everything that.
Just to have the most, read on Audible.
Exactly.
But
so
what are you doing with that?
I'm not sure I retained much, but right now, so I, back to my heritage, I actually found an author, and forgive me, I do not remember his name, but he has a fictional books series about being a doctor in Laos, and just kind of some adventure stories. So it's very fictional, and I just thought, I'm going to read for pleasure.
Good for you.
So
Good for you.
I'm
That's
reading
important.
for pleasure. And
allow your brain and your creativity to really work. You need that relief.
And Laos is a small country and in a small community. And so to find something on that, and just really by chance, I can't remember what I was looking through, and just to come across that, I just thought, that's what I'm going to do. And I like series. I like series. I like reading it. And so I went ahead and just went, Amazon. Buy it all the entire series and read it. And so that's what I'm doing.
Right I like that. Do you speak other languages besides English?
I do. I speak Lao.
Okay.
And it's rough around the edges because it's one of those. I mean, it's a tough language.
Is it? Okay.
And I was only, I like to say I have a thick Asian accent, or that, English is my second language, when I can't think of a word, or if I decide to say something improperly, that's my fallback. But
I'm sure it's darling. Yeah.
But really, we came over here when I was young. I was about 4.
Okay.
And so English is really my language. I think I dream it, and so so practicing Lao with, and there's not a lot of persons I can practice that with. So it's just my mom and my dad and my sisters, and again, it's like it's a mix.
It's like Spanglish, but Laoish.
Something like that. Yeah. It all really is just kind of Lao-ish because
it's all jumbled together.
Right. And
that's very cool though.
And it's probably not proper, but at least I can get to the bathroom.
Yes, and order some food
all that
and
matters, really.
Say the important things.
Yes.
Yeah, the I love you and the cuss words.
You and the thank yous and
and the naughty words. I mean, that's important.
My husband has the naughty words down pat.
Good,
of course. He's very fluent in that.
Because
Lao.
if someone doesn't know what you're saying, is it literally a cuss word? I don't know. I don't think so. But it's up for debate.
Right.
Fine. So okay, I love that. What purchase, and this question goes to both of you, what purchase of $100 or less has actually been really impactful for you? Anything come to mind? I always ask this selfishly because I want to know if there's some hacks out there, some things I need to know.
Oh, So coffee or martinis or bourbon or something like
Yes.
that's that for me. And
We just learned Tat's love language.
and yeah, it sounds like it's for me. No, it's when Kate and I sat down for coffee last week.
Yes.
And technically, I didn't pay for that. Kate did. Thank you. Anyway, but no, when I get to go out and sit down and have coffee and have a drink, go to a happy hour. Yes. Those are my best purchases. I think that's where I really learn. I love the books. Don't get me. I love the books, but sitting down and getting to connect with you, being able to email you with a self-help question. Those are big for me. Building relationships, getting to know somebody, and
time investment.
Because we don't do enough of that.
No,
nowadays.
we don't, because we're doing everything from here.
Yeah. And we go through the drive-through and
yes.
Gosh, Kate, we talked for hours that day.
Yeah. We did.
Isn't that nice?
We
I
just
love
looked
that.
around. We're like, oh, we gotta go.
Yeah. We're shutting the place down.
And to lose ourselves in each other over a cup of coffee.
Yeah. And just you're making these bonds that are really, I mean, it's far beyond the business, which I love too. That fills my cup.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So I know.
Pun intended.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And so it's not clever. The answer is not clever.
No, it's real though. And it's meaningful.
It's what I have found that has really, when you talk on return on investments in yourself and your self-worth and the knowledge that you gain and the encouragement. Because, you can't sit down with Kate for any more than 2 minutes and not be like, okay, I want to do this too.
Yeah.
Because she's like a rocket ship.
Yeah. And it wears off on you a little bit.
Exactly. And you get that when you sit down and talk with somebody.
Yeah.
So
I love that. Thank you, Tats. All right. Well, you've got to follow that up. So what if we're done kidding?
Okay.
Yes.
Well, forgive me. It's not as relational, but off the bat, I went to steak. Okay, so have you ever had the best steak in your life? And I know this is going to be controversial. So
that's okay. You can't make everyone happy, so just be you.
When you usually go with somebody. So, I guess it is relational. From traveling, I've gone to a lot of different conferences across the country, and one of my favorite places to go, which we don't have locally, is a Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
They just have a signature.
This is
and you walk out so full and so happy.
Granted, that is $100 steak.
It is.
So enjoy. It's the whole thing. But it's
right.
Oh my.
United States beef is some of the best. It's the best in the world. People love it.
Popped right. That's the only thing I can think of.
That's okay. Well, we know what you're probably eating tonight. Johnny, did you hear that? Very good. All right. So let's go to some fun little quick fire round would you rather questions. I know they're very silly, but and these questions go to both of you. And if you want to justify them, that's fine too, but there's no judgment zone. Would you rather be covered in fur or scales?
Oh, fur. No scales. No scales close to me.
Okay. So I got it. So no frogs, no lizards, no snakes.
No furs.
Right. We've also learned what Tats hates. So
I guess if you get to swim though,
that's true.
I'd go mermaid on you.
Oh yeah. That'd be fun. Okay.
Well,
that would probably
we have a furry mermaid.
That's actually
the
best
like a water bug
option. Yeah. Where you can run on water. That would be fun too. Would you rather be in jail for a life or lose a year off your life? Not to be morbid, but it's unavoidable.
So I have to say that question caught my eye when you sent that to us yesterday. So I think I have to say, as much as as claustrophobic as I am, I'd have to choose jail. And here's the reason why. Because when you take a year off your life, it's an ending. It's like, okay, now I know where I'm going to end. And I like to think there's never an end. There's always beginnings and opportunities.
Yes. Yeah. Transitions.
And so at least when you're in jail for a year, you get to look forward to 365 days from now.
Yes.
Things will get better.
Yes.
There's a light.
And you can use that time in a good way, right? You can do lots of push-ups, lots of sit-ups, eat really well, sleep well, consume lots of knowledge. I mean, that's what I would be doing if I ended up there for some reason. Yeah.
Hope is better than doom.
That is true.
Right.
That's true.
Well, and two, we don't know how long we have, right?
That's right.
That's something
Tomorrow's not promised.
Johnny and I discussed, and we went to a retreat to decide our core values together, which was a beautiful thing to do before you get married.
That's
I'll
awesome.
recommend it to anybody. But so it makes you think, how much time do you have? And so I would take the jail, but I wouldn't like it.
Can we be cellmates?
Right?
There you go.
Okay,
Okay.
that would be a deal.
That would be better.
Because it's I mean, I'd like to take a year off and just retreat into like a monk, and just like relax and think
really
and
deep.
be present. And how much time do you really have, to just
You don't
have some time to be present?
That's
And
right.
Not
You have
when
like
you're a
5
rocket ship.
minutes to meditate in the morning.
Yeah, I know that's something I'm working on personally. So
Okay.
that sounds kind of
I
nice.
like that. See,
Except
and
for the
that's-
jail part.
That's yeah, or whatever we might have done to end up there. But would you rather spend the rest of your life living in a sailboat or an RV as your home?
What do you think?
Oh, I'd go sailboat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I like the sailboat.
Okay.
Of course.
Back to the mermaid theme. I'm sensing
think
something
so.
here. You need some water on your landscape.
I think you get a different view on
Yeah.
a sailboat.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about a sailboat is you actually stay close enough to shore that if you want to come in, you can come in. So
There you go.
sunsets and sunrises.
Yes.
And
Yeah. Just all the marine life. I would agree. Would you rather be able to go back in time or tell the future?
Ooh.
I know. This is
I would
a hard
go back. I've always wanted to talk to Abe Lincoln.
one. Okay.
I know. Okay, Judge. I just do. I want to know the guy.
We're naming this one Abe Lincoln. Troy.
And Eve, because she had to take the apple and she did this to childbirth.
what were you
Okay.
thinking, woman? Right?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Tats, what would you do? Back in time or tell the future?
Oh gosh. Just because I rather kind of know what I'm
Yeah.
getting into. So
Yes.
in the past.
In future telling?
Yeah.
Oh, you would go
going
back to the past.
Yeah, going into the past because I know
Got it.
what was there and and I'd rather
Yes.
go into some place that I know and avoid those pitfalls.
That's right.
So
Yeah, I would go back in the past if I could maintain the knowledge I have now. Right. I mean, these are our rules. We can make this whatever we
I
want.
was going
Right.
to say that's good.
I know. Well, that's because I've asked this question so many times, and
Okay.
I gather other people's information. I'm like, I like that too. All right, that works.
And like, so long as it
Yeah.
doesn't change the trajectory,
Right.
and take
Right. I know.
away
Yeah.
something that
these are
you know.
these are all just make believe. But it's good. We get to know each other this way. Would you rather live in a new build or a 100-year-old home? This hits really close to home for real estate.
I did live in a 100-year-old home.
Okay, I could see that because you're an old soul. I could see that. Okay, Tats, what would you do?
I'm going to go with a new build.
I'm with you, sister.
I'm a new build.
Yeah,
and
I am, yeah.
it's, oh boy, it sounds, I like creating things. I like
Yes.
to call it mine.
And make it exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then, I guess then if something doesn't work, then I know it's me. I did it.
Yeah.
Because you think about a 100-year-old home. I'm like,
All
I
the
don't know how to
families.
do it. I don't know how to do
Right.
this.
Right.
Yeah. And what happens if there's a crack in the basement and,
Yeah.
and mold and, so I'm just thinking, insurance wise.
Yes.
So, and you do know how hard
risk
it is
mitigation right here.
to find insurance for a 100-year-old home. You better make sure you have all those upgrades, a new roof and all that stuff to get all
I
your
can't imagine.
discounts. And
There we go.
I've just,
The insurance is coming out. I love it.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
that really just kind of doomsday everything, didn't it?
No,
I just,
no. But as long as you have the connections to the right insurance agent.
Yeah, and in real estate, you have a buyer for every kind of home. So
That's right.
That's true.
I think, I lived in a 100-year-old home. It was a little intense. Probably would go with the new build, but what I really love about some, characteristics.
Yes. All the character, the
what is
history.
Is it called the dumbwaiter that goes
Yes.
down? I love those.
Those
and
fun
laundry
things.
chutes.
And
it
laundry
just-
chutes.
Nostalgia.
Yeah.
Love it.
But you could still put those in a 100-year-old home. Just saying. You could, if the right builder. Okay. Cats or dogs?
Okay, so I would have 2 years ago, 3 years ago, told you dogs hands down.
Yes.
But now I have grandkitties.
Oh,
And
yes.
oh my gosh, I love them to pieces, and I miss them.
Yes.
I know. It's
Yeah.
really, not everybody does that, Kate. This is why I like
Yeah,
you.
well, my
most
mom-
most
my
people
mom
think
calls-
I'm really weird.
Yes. No, my mom has grand puppies and she knows it.
My mom
Yes.
has grand dogs too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All
So
right.
grandkitties.
What about you?
Oh, I have this cat who is wild. We found him in a hay bale, and we took him in. I know it's always a story.
It is.
And he's 21 pounds, and I feed him I know. Don't look at me like that.
I'm
I
not.
feed
I'm not
him-
judging you. I'm just that's impressive.
I feed
like
him
Garfield.
as much for a 12-pound cat, and he just is giant. And he's
He's eating all sorts of other things outside.
he's indoor, outdoor. He's a princess.
He's a princess.
He is, and he'll prowl around the house at night, and he makes our security cam go off all the time. But
How
no,
cute.
he taught. So funny enough, Johnny and I, we were a blended family, is what we like to say, because I brought the household cat, and my mom didn't want me to be alone, so I brought my cat when I moved in when Johnny and I bought our house.
That's cute.
And then he brought his dog. Well, my cat would growl. He's like an attack dog, so he would growl when people pull in, and he taught the dog to growl when people.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, and now we have a COVID puppy that we got in 2020.
Oh,
so she's
what?
COVID. She's our COVID baby.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
And she
Okay.
thinks she's personally victimized when I go to work.
She probably is rude.
Likes mom time. Yeah.
Yeah. Just put her in a carrier.
But yeah, they're a hoot. I would say my cat doesn't like me. He loves Johnny and he's a traitor. And so I'm going to be a dog person today.
Okay. That's fair. He probably isn't going to know how to log on to YouTube anyway.
I was
so
going to say,
there's
I
that.
hope he doesn't see the show.
I know. He's like, I'll show you. If something really bad happens to like your favorite shoes, we know why. So, got it. Well, ladies, thank you so much. Tats, I appreciate you making some time
Thank you for the
to come on here.
invite.
Yes, and represent Shepherd Insurance Group. And I'm sure that Heidi will be watching and she will be fully prepared when she comes on. And Kate, thank you so much just for your leadership in our community, for just upholding just the professionalism and just showing the rest of the world, and especially here in our real estate community, that no matter your age, you can really make a difference, and you have made a big difference. So I commend you and I respect you for that.
Thank you. Thanks
You're
for
welcome.
having me.
Yep, you bet. All right, guys, that's a wrap here on the Wichita Real Producers Beyond the Pages podcast. So be sure that you subscribe. We will be dropping a podcast every single week, and it will also live on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you ever need any branding videos or any videography advice, then make sure you find Troy Trussell. And that's a wrap. Have a good day, guys.